Okay, people. I didn't want to speak too early about this, mainly because I wanted to show a bit of respect. But I've given it a bit of time now, so I think it's time now that we look at Charlie Kirk and the links between Charlie Kirk and the Brotherhood or the Masonic links. Um, Charlie Kirk and the cult. Let's have a look, because there's a lot of strange things that have happened since his demise and before, which I do believe shows a direct correlation between Charlie Kirk and, you want to call him the deep state, we can call him the deep state, but I'm going to call them the Brotherhood. It's all the same thing: Brotherhood, Masons, Skull and Bones, Illuminati, all under the same umbrella. But like I say, it's time that we get into it. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I don't know if you guys are aware, there's a link between Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump. An early link. I'm not talking about the link that you see them before his death. You know that they were friends. Well, I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about the link between Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's father was Robert W. Kirk. So that's Charlie Kirk's father, Robert W. Kirk. And as you can see here, Robert W. Kirk was involved. He's one of the architects involved in the construction of Trump Towers. So he helped construct Trump Towers in New York many moons ago. So can you see now that they've got sort of like a connection already? This is even before Charlie Kirk's birth. See, we're researching at the same time, because all these things, to me, I know them, but it's kind of like a thing where it's kind of like, well, I know them, but I'm trying to at the same time remember the dates, because I don't want to give you misinformation. You see, there's people that everything I say they just take as the gospel truth, and I don't like that. I think that everything I tell you, you should really go and research it yourself. At least then you actually know. And I do that all the time. If somebody tells me anything, I never just accept it. I never do. It's like even the Patreons, you guys, you'll tell me stuff, but everything you tell me, you always find I say, let me research and come back to you, because I need to know it for myself. That way it becomes my truth rather than someone else's. And I think that's the problem that we live in. So many people tell us stuff. It's even our own governments. They tell us stuff and we take their truth as our truth, when it's not. That's their truth. You've got to find your truth. And the beauty of the world that we live in today, you can find your truth, and you can find your truth from just literally going onto the internet and just researching until you get to the place of, well, now I know the truth. And once you know that, it's a powerful thing.
Trump has been revealed. The internet has been buzzing with speculation about the whereabouts of Charlie Kirk's family, particularly his father, mom, and sister. Photos have been circulating online showing a distressed older man, allegedly identified as Charlie's father, weeping and mourning his son. These emotional posts have fueled widespread confusion and curiosity. But here's the truth. That man is not Charlie Kirk's father. According to an obituary report, the man in the widely shared photo is Robert W. Kirk, who passed away in 2008, long before the current events surrounding Charlie Kirk.
Oh my God, did you just hear that? This is mad. So what you're trying to say is, when you type in Charlie Kirk's father into Google, it comes up with this picture. But that's not actually his father. I only brought this up because I wanted to research Trump Towers. I wanted to make sure that I was right about Trump Towers. Trump Tower, sorry. I'm saying Towers, but it's Trump Tower. But all that put aside to one second. What the fuck? So you're trying to tell me that that's not Charlie Kirk's father. This is actually somebody with the same name who's now deceased and had nothing to do with working on Trump Towers. So this is blatant misinformation on Google. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, so, well, I mean, we have to get onto that one at a later date. I can't even get into that one right now. That's not the reason for my talk today. So that's going in a different direction. I don't know if you guys want to go down a rabbit hole on that one, because I can't do it right now, but I will. I will on this channel. Stay tuned. But either way, that wasn't my point. Let's continue with the video. Yeah, let's just continue. But I'll be honest with you, before we continue, I just want to put a quick disclaimer on this. I mean, this is new information to me. I didn't know this. But at the same time, this is the reason why I used to get my information out of books, because books, they have to cite the sources, whereas on the internet, you have to do digging to find out if the information you're receiving is true. You know, but I've even fallen into that now. I rarely read books like I used to. You know, now it's a thing where I mostly get all of my information from discovery on the internet. But then this is why things like this happen. You know, things like this happen because, you know, they can manipulate the internet, which is clearly what's happened here. But like I say, let's continue.
The similarity between his name and that of Charlie's father has led to massive online misinformation. While the names match, that's where the resemblance ends. The man in the 2008 obituary has no known connection to the Turning Point USA founder or his family. Many users have fallen for misleading claims promising a video of Charlie Kirk's father collapsing in grief at a memorial allegedly set up outside Turning Point USA headquarters. Yet, no such video exists. The posts that make these promises provide neither credible footage nor verifiable sources. The included photo is a recycled image from the 2008 obituary, misused to stoke viral engagement. Even a quick Google search for Charlie Kirk's father produces confusing results. Among the top images is that same photograph of the late Robert W. Kirk. Robert Willard Kirk is very much alive. He has chosen to remain out of the public eye, preferring privacy over publicity. Behind the scenes, though, he has built a highly successful career in architecture, one that interestingly intersects with the Trump family long before Charlie's rise to political prominence. Robert Willard Kirk is the president of an architecture firm that once listed the Trump Tower in New York City among its projects. A photo of him appeared on the firm's website in 2017, though it has since been removed.
Okay, so then you've got to take his wife, Erica Kirk. And now her story is even stranger. That's why I'm starting to think that maybe she was his handler. No. So maybe she was the one controlling him in the background. I'm thinking that maybe Charlie Kirk is the innocent party in all this. I mean, at the end of the day, he's the one who took the bullet. So, I mean, maybe, nobody would sign up for that. So maybe he was the innocent party. But at the same time, Erica Kirk, I don't know. I find her behaviour strange, but nobody can tell someone how to mourn. That's the thing. And I do agree with that, because everybody mourns in a different way. I think that's the same with Erica Kirk. You're looking at her and you're like, well, she doesn't seem sincere. She doesn't seem like a woman that's cut up. I mean, first of all, there's that speech that she gave, the one straight after the death. That's the strangest speech. I mean, it really is. I mean, you would have thought, your husband's just died. Would you even want to talk, first of all? And then it was like it was scripted, and not only that, it was like, well, you would have thought at that time you wouldn't bring people together, right? You don't want to fight anymore. You're kind of like, well, this is a tragedy that you can, if there's any good that comes out of it, maybe it's that we bring left and right together. We bring them both hands together, and we say, well, let's just stop this now. Let's try and work together. But it wasn't let's try and work together. It was very defiant, very like, well, now we got to fight, which I get, because not everyone's the same. So there's going to be people that they want vengeance, they want blood. As soon as they see anything like that, they want to get revenge, which I totally get. But at the same time, it would have been a better time for someone to advise her, to tell her, look, maybe we bring people together right now, because there's innocence on both sides. But at the same time, I can give her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, a lot of people had come out and laughed at her husband's demise. So I suppose if you see that, it would infuriate you. So I'm not going to take too much from her in that respect. But at the same time, let's leave that maybe to the side. But I mean, it's like this interview.
lined up to the brim because my husband was so intentional about making sure that there was enough content. Always.
He made sure we recorded everything.
Everything.
He would not do a speech unless we could get the video and the
100%. So we have speeches that no one's heard of. We have interviews that no one's heard of. We have stuff from Korea and Japan that no one's heard of.
Podcasts.
So, I mean, in the words of my husband, buckle up, because there is a lot of content to be had. And we have so many amazing things down the pipeline that we are working on currently that will
unveil in due time.
I am so excited.
I find this interview real strange as well. It's like, why are you laughing? It's just a real strange way to act a few weeks after your husband's been unalive, you know. I have a wife, and if something like this happened to my wife, I think I'd be cut up for months. I don't even think I could do anything. You know, I'd be distraught, and if I did, I would want to be alone. I wouldn't want to jump straight in at the deep end. But everybody's different. That's why I can't totally say that she had anything to do with it based on this, because everybody grieves in their own way. Her way of grieving may be, well, I just got to jump into the work, so that's how she grieves. But the funeral was a very, very strange funeral, and, you know, very, very strange funeral. The way that she acted at the funeral was strange. She seemed to be, it's like everything was on cue. There's one thing about that funeral, and I didn't like it. It was staged. It was a staged funeral, and it's not that you can even deny that the funeral was staged. You can't say that it wasn't a staged funeral. It was a staged funeral. And it had to be on that level. So you have to know when the fireworks are going off. You have to know where to stand. You have to know not what to say, but you've already written a script, right? Okay. But, you know, it seemed like everything was on cue, including things that shouldn't be on cue. I get it's a production. It's a funeral, but it's a production at the same time. And any production has to have a direction. So there has to be a director who directed the funeral. I know on that level, it's not like the personal funeral. It's a state funeral. So it's going to be more organized. But I have to admit, it was a bit off because it's still a funeral and it was very staged. But then you find out, after that, we find out a lot of information on her background. And we find out that she had a link with Donald Trump from when she was a kid. And we're like, okay, well, that's strange. So not only did he have a link with Charlie Kirk's family before Charlie was born, he's got a link with Erica Kirk before she was Erica Kirk. And when she was a kid, 17, he had her in a beauty pageant. So they've all got links. And this is why I'm saying we go back to this whole thing. And then we find out that she knew Epstein. So it's all very strange.
This is probably going to lose a lot of you, so please, please just listen to me, okay? I am a card-carrying conservative, but something is up with the wife, okay? Something is up with the fact that she had never done a pageant before and just so happened to get a modeling offer in the mail, and then she just so happened to win Miss Arizona USA 2012. There's something up with the fact that she was 17 and started a nonprofit where she worked alongside the United States military in Romania, doing work with orphanages at the same period that Romania was having one of its largest trafficking crises in its history. There's also something up with the fact that she is a licensed real estate agent in the state of New York, and she worked for the same real estate group that did business with Jeffrey Epstein. And she was very, very successful on her own before the mutual friend set her up for her interview with Charlie for Turning Point. And sources are saying that that friend was President Trump. You guys, she was already successful. She had this vision, and now there are rumors that allegedly Netanyahu was going to free up $150 million of American Jewish money to Turning Point USA, and Charlie declined it. And you guys, just since Charlie's death, Turning Point USA has gotten over 18,000 chapter requests across the United States. I did not hear one mention of Israel or Netanyahu or the backlash that Charlie had been facing in Erica's speech. And today, when the Charlie Kirk show was live, none of his friends or co-workers said one thing about it while they were all talking about the alleged shooter in Utah. And you guys, that's something that they should at least clear up or acknowledge, but they're not talking about it. And all rabbit holes lead to the same place. So please think critically about this. And God bless.
Now they're all linked. Well, it's not strange. It's just proof that they're all linked. And it's proof that when you actually think about it, so how do you know that Donald Trump, knowing what he knows, he sets that up with Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. He set them up. How do you know he didn't? I mean, we can't say he did, but, he knew her from the beauty pageant. And how did Charlie Kirk get to know her? Was it just random? And if it is random, well, it's a very small world. It's a very small world. I mean, what are the chances of him ever meeting her? But he did. And Donald Trump knew her as well. So we're seeing a connection being built. And then you find out that she started a ministry at such a young age. It's not really 17-year-olds who start ministries. That's very strange. And then that ministry went to Eastern Europe and ended up having to leave Eastern Europe because they were linking that ministry with child abduction. Now that is very strange. It's very strange, but true. So, all of these links and all of these things lead us to believe, well, you form your own picture. And if you're going to say that it's all coincidence, then that's one thing. But I don't believe it's all coincidence. And I don't believe that that's the end of it. It's all happened for a reason. And that reason is to cause a divide among the people. Because this has divided the world. And we're in a dangerous place, to be honest with you. I don't think, I've been here a while now. I'm in my late 40s. So what I'm trying to say to you is, I don't believe that I've ever seen the world as divided as it is now. And this is coming from a guy who's lived in a country which is where I'm a minority. I'm a minority in the UK. And the UK is more divided than it's ever been. It's a very, very divided place. I guess I'll leave it on this note, people. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Charlie Kirk was probably, for this period that we're living in at the moment, for this generation, a very, very important person. Now, I didn't agree, and I'll say it again, I didn't agree with the things that Charlie Kirk spoke about, or the things that Charlie Kirk really, his message, I didn't agree with it. But at the same time, there's a world before Charlie Kirk. And there's a world that's after Charlie Kirk. And this world that's after Charlie Kirk is a divided place. So I believe that the powers above knew what they were doing. And they did orchestrate Charlie Kirk's demise. And it has caused all of the division that you're seeing at the moment. And that was done for a reason. Divided, we fall, united, we stand. So, just like the Tower of Babel, or Babel, however you want to pronounce it, they've chopped us down, so we now are all divided. And that 1%, we are not even looking at all anymore.